like had plans for me. Like I thought I had to plan out my life. I had to really like fill my life and my schedule with like tons of things at that time in my life. And I was still kind of frustrated because I would always be like, well, should I do this or that? I don't know. And I just thought it was so important. And I didn't think that relationships were that important. I was just not good at those and closed and just didn't feel loved. And, so it's like, well, if I do all of these things externally, then I'll like myself. Then I'll be the type of person that people will want to be around. I can kind of skirt around the emotional issues that I have and find love, find fulfillment, and be able to love myself and accept myself. And another thing that happened during that time where I heard God's voice, this was a time when I was living at Dad's house, but I was just kind of my relationship with Dad, I just felt like very alone. I felt like I really got closer to God during that time, in the sense of feeling lonely and not feeling like I could share a lot of things with Dad because we had different beliefs of God, and I just kind of knew how he felt about that. So one time I was like alone in the house, just like cleaning the house and cleaning the kitchen, and I was kind of feeling a lot of emotions rising up and just a lot of fears and things, as I don't know if I was praying or not. I think like I wasn't praying. It's kind of funny, like when you're really quiet, when I'm quiet, that's when I really hear God, like even when my emotions are quiet and still. And so I was sweeping the floor in the kitchen, and I was kind of still, and I don't know if I stood still for a moment after I heard this or before, but he said, Elizabeth, I will always take care of you. Like he said, you will always be taken care of, actually. And I just, like, always had this fear about, like, I have to make sure that I work a job. I have to make sure, because just in case, if someone rejects me, if my parents aren't there for me, that someday I'm probably going to be alone. I'm going to have to do all of this, A, B, C. So I got to have all my ducks in a row, I've got to plan everything. I've got to control everything, because I had a lot of anxiety about whether God would provide for me, but I didn't really connect it to God. Like, I didn't think that it, and then I realized, like, I guess I do look to God, to provide, food and clothing, just like the Bible says. So I when I heard him say that, I was like, you know what, I know these verses that the Bible says, don't worry about tomorrow, and that he will provide for you like he provides for the birds of the air, and that he clothes the grass of the field, so he's going to give you clothing. And I guess I assume that since he knows we're spoiled Americans, that he's going to give us shelter too, even though technically the Bible doesn't, like, promise that. We do need shelter from the cold and from the elements sometimes, so I know he knows about that, and that's not hard for him. So, so since I had those fears, that statement meant a lot to me. And I just thought, you know what, right now I'm going to provide for my future, or whatever. I'm going to fix my future and set it in stone by believing that word that he gave me, not doubting it, so he doesn't have to come around again and tell me that. And so I believed it with all my heart, and I've never had anxiety about those things anymore, because I had it so much repeatedly growing up, that fear. I was like, I'm done with this. So those are the times that I heard God's voice. And so one more thing for this video, even though it's pretty long. When I was, I don't know, this happened when I was 11, but I've always had incontinence, which basically is just wetting the bed, and when I was little, and so I would sometimes, like, crawl into my parents' bed, and I guess I had a lot of fear at night, which I didn't realize till I thought about it later, but I did. And so I had that problem, and I was, like, always really, like, ashamed because of it, and I wouldn't tell anybody, only my parents, my family knew, and, it was just, like, something that made me feel really bad about myself, among other things, but it was pretty distressing to me. So anyways, I wanted to stop, and my parents, I think when I was like 8 or something, or 10, they took me, I think it was 10, and they took me to a doctor, And that was really embarrassing, like even more embarrassing. And I was just like, please help me just get through this day. And anyways, they did some tests and stuff, and I was like, maybe, this is gonna help me, but I kind of didn't really believe it was gonna help, because logically it's like, what could they really do, And I don't know what I thought, but I guess I thought it wasn't like that big of a deal. Once I went to the doctor, I was like, can we go home? I didn't want to be like taking medicine for it, because I guess I didn't believe in it helping. And so they had these like little like not pills, but like they're almost like tiny little white vitamins or something, and like sugar pills. It's almost like they kind of tasted like sugar pills. And those really didn't help, and there was like a couple other things that I tried, and it was mostly because I was wanting something different, like to change. I don't think my parents were like that worried about it really. They were like, well, eventually, you're gonna grow out of it, and I was like, yeah, but like, can that be today? And so, anyway, I like secretly I saw something on like one of my packages for like my little pull-ups. I saw like a little thing where you could like write in, and they would send you pamphlets about like how to stop bedwetting. I forget what exactly it was, but it was free. So I was like, you know what, maybe this will help me. So I wrote in for that, and I was like so desperate. Like the fact that I even wrote in or asked for help myself was like how desperate I was, because I don't normally do that or ask for help. And so I I started this thing where I was writing on the calendar and like Xing off the days where I would stay dry, and I was like so excited because I was like looking for something to change, and just I felt like I just really felt driven to like stop, just like fix myself. What was wrong with me? And because I was 11, and I was like getting worried, like I'll be an adult and I'll still have this problem. And you know, so anyways, while I was waiting for that thing to come in the mail, I kind of like, after I ordered that thing, felt a little more peaceful. Like, okay, this is probably might be the solution. And then I prayed, and I was like, God, just like with all of my heart, I really want to stop this, and if you can just heal me of this once and for all, forever, I will tell people my testimony so that it will give glory to you. And I was thinking like telling kids, like telling people that maybe went through it. I mean, I had like all kinds of clauses to that, because I was like, oh no, what did I just do? I just promised that I was gonna like share like my most shameful secret, whatever. And I didn't realize how many people struggle with that, but still, it's not something that I wanted to share. I just like really, really wanted to be healed, and I just thought, if I made a promise with it, then it would hold more weight or something, and that God would be more likely to answer. So I was waiting for that thing to come in the mail. Well, by the time that thing came, the little pamphlets thing, that I had requested, I was already staying dry every single night. It was like within a week or a week and a half or something. And after I prayed that, it was just like very soon, and I was like completely healed. Like I never wet the bed again. And I was like, wow, that like God must have known I was sincere and stuff. Like He actually healed me. That's pretty incredible. But I can't tell anybody, because then they'll know that I wet the bed, and I will be so ashamed, and I'll just like already like really struggled with depression and hating myself and just rejection. And I had a lot of those kinds of feelings and fears, and especially fear of what people thought of me. And so I just thought, someday I will, but not yet, God, not yet, please. Like, I don't want to ruin my quote-unquote reputation that I didn't have, because I really had a very small circle of friends, and I'm sure they all liked me. I really had this fear. And so those are a couple of the things that God's done in my life, and I will share the rest in a different video, because this one's already like pretty long. So thanks for watching, and I hope that that's blessed you.